Gumbolaya podcast, C.A. Purcell here with the writer of our next song. It's called Scales.
I'm so sorry. He's the producer, not the writer.
Yeah. Oh.
We
got to do it again.
You and I are writers.
Yeah. Womp, womp,
I know, right?
Praise and production.
Gumbolaya podcast, C.A. Purcell here with Kelley Nicole and the producer of our next song, Scales. It go like this.
Let the scales fall.
Oh, yeah.
Scales fall. Scales fall. Oh, God.
Let them fall, oh God.
Scales fall.
Change me.
Scales fall.
Set me free.
Dave Stevens.
Yes, sir.
Dave!
Music producer.
Yes, sir.
Music businesser.
Yes, sir.
Right? You probably have taught me more, at least recently, about music business than anybody else I can think of, at least right off the top of my head.
Oh, man.
So Dave was the guy that taught me about the opportunities in spa and meditation music. And that's why I did Kimia La Libosa.
Which
Kimia
is really
La
good,
Libosa.
by the way, baby.
I can't remember the
really
title.
good.
Thank you.
Kimia Ya Liboso.
So it was all because of him. We were hanging out and he was like, yo, you got to get our spa stuff, bro. They paying. I was like, oh, okay. So I just started to research, started working with it. So thank you for that.
No problem.
I
Okay.
just learned that he has a master's in music business. I did not know that.
I did not
That's
know
awesome.
this from...
Yeah, that's awesome.
From Berkeley.
You're a Berkeley
College
guy
of Music.
too?
Yep.
I did not know this.
Yep.
I knew you were
Berkeley
in the
alone.
area. I know you played, because you met him when you were in college, right?
I was out of college and he
Okay.
was a player for our band. That's how I met Dave.
Right. So I was there. I graduated in 97. But
Okay.
I wasn't at Berkeley then. I was at UMass. So,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what year did you go in? Were you?
98. So
Okay.
yeah, I was there till 02, but I stayed in Boston.
Okay.
I was in
okay,
Boston for several years after that.
Okay.
And I think, well, I don't know if you started playing with us when we were in Boston or when we went to LA or both. Probably both.
I think I filled in a few times.
Yeah.
But I had already I was playing with them when they were in Kumba. So,
Oh yeah. Well, I was in
So,
Kumba a
yeah,
long
yeah.
time
So
too.
you predated her entrance into the group?
Yeah.
You were playing? I didn't know that.
If he was playing for Kumba
Did
in
you
the
already know
90s,
in the night, yeah.
then it was before
Okay, so
me.
to explain all this stuff,
Yeah.
Kumba is a vocal group at her school, H-Bomb, Harvard Town, and she was a singer in the group. And in that group were some people that comprised the band that she was in that brought her to Los Angeles. And he played for them. I just found this out before she joined. And then she joined. and that's how they met.
I don't think I knew you played for Kumba. So you are real fam.
Oh, yeah,
Dave.
yeah,
Like
yeah. I
Kumba
played
is
for-
my heart. Okay, shout out
played
to
for
Sheldon
them.
Reed.
Yep. I even did the tour when they did the tour
What?
through
You
Atlanta and all
adore
that kind of
Kumba?
stuff.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Those
Yeah.
were some of my best times in college. Like, no joke. But it was before. He played before I was there.
I was really, really silly too on that tour. I had to
I mean,
get checked a few times.
What other
It was
way
really
is there
bad.
to be?
Oh my goodness.
Wait,
Have you
a
ever heard-
musician silly?
I know, right?
Yes.
Have you ever heard the conversations that like comedians and musicians have about the connection between the two?
No.
Oh, well, there's a very
It's a real thing.
strong like overlap in the performative arts, the things that you do in front of people. And there's
Right.
just a lot of understanding that we share when you have to stand in front of people. You know what I mean? Just like musicians and actors as well. But a
Right.
comedian is a particular type of performer. Like, you know what I mean? They're very
Yes.
unique. And so is a musician. And so there's an overlap. And Chappelle talked about it on one of his, I might have been the Block Party, I think.
Mhm.
But he talked about how so many of his musicians' friends are hilarious,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
at a level that he would recognize as hilarious. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And there's a lot of comedians who really have a strong knack and love, or even just an appreciation of music at a very high level.
It
So
makes
yeah.
sense to me
Yeah.
because there's also an improvisational
Yeah,
vibe
very
that
much so.
musicians and comedians share.
Yep.
So it makes
Yes.
sense.
And I would probably say 95% of musicians I know are hilarious.
Yeah.
Like it's
Same.
rare that you meet a musician that just can't get a joke in, and when
Yeah.
they do, you know,
because we kind of get stuck at 17. I say that
Yeah.
the whole time. Like my whole life, you know, I have adult responsibilities,
Yeah.
kids, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm pretty much still 17.
Yeah.
It's like a
Hold
it's
on
like,
to it,
wow,
bro.
Yeah, like man, I'm 17 with all
Yeah.
these responsibilities. So
I'm sure your wife loves that.
Oh,
being
yeah.
stuck at 17.
Well, wait
Yes,
a
I
minute.
know.
I was going to say, I think that's I know that's one of the reasons why I love that guy. He makes me laugh. He's made me laugh since day one. And
That's
I feel
right.
like together we are 17. And that's
humor.
fine.
Yeah, and that's so important. Like that's so important
Yeah.
in life. Like because there's so many things we go through. So
Yeah.
being able to still have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
My kids constantly say, and they're teenagers, they constantly say like, Dad, you got to be more mature. Like, what are you
Your
No,
kids
I don't
say
care.
kids say that. Like the kids, they're like, can you just grow up? I'm like, no, I really can't.
Yeah.
Yo, like I tried stand up comedy too.
A word?
It's
I didn't
funny
know
that you
this.
say that. Yeah, I tried it.
You got video?
No, I will never show it. I will never show it. And it's
It's
like
hard.
slightly inappropriate. No, I will never show
I'm okay with
slightly
inappropriate.
But the funny thing was, I thought I was going to bomb. I had my 18-year-old son with me too.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was going to bomb, but I just had to do it. It was like bucket list. You know, my whole life I wanted to
This
try
was
it.
recent?
Yeah, it was like last year.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
that is
Yeah.
recent,
I thought you meant like back in the day.
No,
Where
no.
did you go?
So there's this place in Hollywood. I can't even think of the name of the place
Mhm.
right now. I got to look it up. But they have this open mic. So you can go in there, you sign up, and then you just go up. And it's like, it looks like the Laugh Factory and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. You know, microphone in the middle.
Yeah.
So I didn't think anybody would think I was funny. Man, they were cracking up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You did well.
So I was like, so.
Bro, video.
Another
Let's
calling.
see.
I was like, now we got a little problem. Because
So you go home and be like,
Like,
babe,
we did it then.
I know there's a whole music career thing. Comedy.
yeah, I was like,
Wait, how long was your set?
It was you only get 5 minutes.
Okay,
yeah.
You only
okay,
get 5
okay.
minutes.
Yeah.
But I
I
went
mean, that's
right
a
in.
And
long
you slayed.
time if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not like an active pro or
Right.
even
I wouldn't
like
do it.
an active, novice. Filling 5 minutes.
5
Yeah.
minutes, bro.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Did
And
you
it's
write
nerve-wracking.
material
Yeah.
for yourself?
Yeah, I wrote
Okay.
material and
Not bad.
and then my son, he was like, that's whack, or yeah, try that, So
Is
when I
he the
finished,
decider? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
whack, Dad.
yeah,
Your kids will
When we
keep it real.
finished, yes, and they'll kill your self-esteem too.
Right.
But they, but he was like, when
Yeah.
it was over, he was like, you actually ate with that, man. That was real funny.
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
like,
So if you get his
cool.
stamp of approval, it
Yeah.
means something.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need to see that video. I'm gonna need to
Same.
see it. Do you
Oh,
got you
man.
got it somewhere, right?
I have it somewhere.
Okay, I'll make
send
you
it
a
to
promise. I won't send or share it with anybody without your permission. I want to see it. We want to see it.
I kind of want to see
Come
it.
on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'll
thought
send
you
it
were
to
going to
y'all.
say you bombed. Like
no,
it was like
I was expecting a bomb.
Yeah.
I was expecting a bomb.
That's probably why you did well, because you went in okay with bombing.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm gonna
Yep.
do it.
free.
So I have a close friend that I got to know when I moved to LA. His mom is a real estate person. She's a real estate broker, agent. I can't remember, but she's in real estate, right? And they kind of adopted me into the family when I moved here. We got real close. She did comedy. Like, I think she was like on a cruise or something like that. And she just tried it out and it went well. And she did like a couple sets.
Oh, wow.
So it was very surreal me looking at, like an adoptive mom on
Yeah.
stage, and she's like clowning on her sons and stuff, and I'm like, yo, you're pretty good.
Yeah,
Like, she was
that's
funny. So there's something. She's not a musician though, but still, it was still just odd. I'm like, yo, maybe I should try this because
Yeah.
she did really, really well.
It's you just never know till you try.
Yeah.
And like I don't think that I'm really that. I'm more funny in person than I am trying to like come up with stuff writing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how to get what I
It's
bring
tough.
naturally to the
Yeah.
stage.
I don't know what your approach would be, but maybe consider just setting up something to record you where you're not having to write it down,
Yeah.
and then you go back and pull out the gems and trim the fat and stuff like
That's
that.
a good idea.
Stream of
Yeah.
consciousness kind
Well,
of
is
thing.
it something you
That's a
want to
good
do
idea.
again?
I'm gonna try it again
Yeah,
because
might as
now
well.
I can't
now
wait
I got
for
the
his wife
bug,
to
so
see
I gotta
that.
do it again.
Comedy.
I gotta do
New
it again.
career,
Right?
right?
No, 'cause,
And you'll
I-
invite us next time.
I don't know if y'all know, like I act too. So
No.
I've been, yeah. So I came out here. This is all crazy. I came out here, got an agent. So
What?
I did,
For
yeah,
acting.
For acting.
Okay. Pause.
Okay.
Pause.
Bro, I'm all
This
over
is
the place.
what's interesting about Dave, right? So I met him when I first met Kelley, right? She had some music that he had done and we were working on her EP. If y'all listen to her EP, he did Second Round and something else. What was on your
Life
EP?
of the Party.
Yeah,
Life of the Party,
Yep,
right?
that's right.
So
Thank you for
that's,
that. by the way.
That's his stuff, right? So I got to know him through that process, and every time I talk to him, he's revealing more stuff that he's doing. So you just saw it. Comedian, business, musician, now he's an actor.
Yo.
Okay, actor, go for it.
So no,
What's
so
the
it's
actor?
crazy. So I had to do auditions all the time. The only thing I've landed so far, which was huge, was the Eminem commercial for the Super Bowl last year.
I remember you posted
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Yes.
So Maya Rudolph, we got a chance to act with Maya Rudolph.
Cool.
What
Now,
is this?
That's so
here's
cool.
the problem. We did the whole shoot. It was amazing. I had lines, like improv lines with Maya Rudolph. She's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And then they cut everything. So all you see at the end of the commercials, me standing there looking stupid. Like, really
man.
stupid too. Really stupid too. And I have on a green hat because I'm supposed to be the green Eminem.
Yeah.
A green beret.
We gotta find it.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you a picture.
You
I had
did. You
green
shared it.
turtleneck. I look stupid.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like they
But wait,
cut
did
all
you
of
get
it.
that Eminem Super Bowl money though?
No.
No?
No. So
Dang.
because they cut all of our parts, I only ended up getting the day shoot money.
Oh.
And that was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I was
I've
crushed.
I'm
I've heard
sorry.
that happens a lot, in particularly in TV and film.
Yeah.
That they change direction sometimes, and it's just there it is. I mean, it happens. I mean, we know it happens in music too, but I hear it happens a lot, especially in TV,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like things are just so fast. You just make a different decision. It's
Right.
like, yo, this is a whole week of shooting.
Right.
Yeah, we're not gonna use that.
Yeah.
It does sound like a great experience.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah,
It was fun.
yeah.
I made some lifelong
Yeah.
friends from that. And then, but then I have to do auditions every week almost. They send a video audition. Sometimes we go in person,
Mhm.
but for the most part, it's just video auditions. All
So
the
you're
time.
still doing that.
Yeah,
That's a
still doing
grind.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if
that's
you're
a
doing that
grind.
every
Holy
week.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we get that. I get that call, and I be like, they like stop everything.
Right,
Go
right.
video this.
Yeah,
It's like
hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be 5 or 6 hours of my life right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
But,
got to bring your A game
yeah.
for that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
there,
lot.
there must be something in it that's going well enough for you to continue, because you said you got the agent and you're actively doing it. So like, is it working enough? Or are you still like testing it out? Where are you in the process?
So in the process, I'm still trying to get to land the roles.
Okay.
'Cause,
Okay.
And actually, and it's cool because you learn as you go. So
Yeah.
the first audition tapes were horrible. It was just
Right,
like,
right,
man,
right.
it was in the dining room with, but then you get the lights eventually.
Yeah.
And, you learn how to do all these little things like, so it's cool, but it's just a process though.
Yeah.
It's-
Next, we're going to hear he's going to direct.
Oh no, that's my son's stuff.
Okay,
I'm away
okay.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
he's-
I wouldn't be surprised, Dave,
We may need to call
Man.
your son.
with all the lists
Oh, yeah.
of the stuff that you do. So what? I mean, just for my own sake,
Mhm.
I know you're a songwriter,
Yeah.
musician. Dave he's an amazing guitar player, music producer,
Mm-hmm.
obviously an actor, and what was the one we just said? A budding comedian.
Well,
What else is on
that
the
one,
list?
I don't know if I'm gonna say. I don't know if I'm gonna put the comedian one in
Well,
there
you said
yet.
budding.
That's okay,
Yeah.
Budding
like maybe
counts.
like a little bud. Like
Smidge.
you just see it just
Just
popping up.
sparking
Okay,
out.
a
Yeah.
testing comedian.
Well, when did you get the acting bug?
So I got here and a friend of mine said, well, if you're going to be in LA, you might as well get an agent. And he was like, you never know what people are looking for. So just,
Well, how did you do that?
Yeah.
I thought
Did you
that
have
getting an
acting
agent,
experience?
you got to have like experience already.
So I had none. And he gave me the hookup. And he said, here's the person to call and everything like that. Send the email. So I sent all the email and I didn't really have any kind of resume. Never did it before. Never acted before. And she got right back to me. He said that was rare because she usually doesn't get back to people.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
Did she explain like why she hit you back so quick? Like, was it something in the audition, or was it the fact that you had the connection? Like, what happened?
yeah, she said that I had a look that
Okay.
was selling for that particular season.
Okay.
And so she was like, football is going on and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
yeah,
She was
yeah.
like,
Okay.
we
That
need
makes sense.
dads and
Okay.
I said, and so, but but it's cool. It worked.
I mean, dads
I'll
can
be a
they
dad.
can be positive
fly
looking
dad.
dads.
Yeah.
Usually dad is,
Yeah.
but I get it.
So here's
Yeah.
what's crazy though.
Yeah.
So the in-person auditions, I know this has nothing to do with music or
It's fine.
skills, so
No,
I
no.
apologize.
No.
It's all good.
But
We like to know the
She's
whole
used
person.
to this kind
Yes,
of stuff.
yes.
This is what I do, bro. I
Okay.
ramble.
All right, well, let me ramble quickly. Okay, so you get to the ones in person, right? Now, I'm not gonna say what my age is, but it's a big age, and then so
It's
I
a
get
big
there,
age.
yeah. So I get there, and the people who are my age look like the big age.
Oh,
They
interesting.
look-
Interesting, yeah.
Okay.
So
Because I was
one-
going to say, you don't look any kind of age.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
so
yeah.
I was coming out
Any
of
kind of age.
any kind of big age,
Any
right?
kind of big age.
I mean,
That's
he
what I meant.
looks-
You understood
he
that.
does
Right. So the last one, I get there and I'm thinking, I was like, I got this role. We were gonna head to Argentina the next day if I got the role. It's like, yo, this is gonna be it. So I get in there, and when I'm leaving, this guy said, "Hey, come here, man." So I come up to the car. He was like, "Yo, how old are you?" So I told him how old he was. He was like, "I'm your age. You look like my son. You ain't gonna get this role.
You gotta exfoliate, bro.
he was like, you're not gonna get this role. They don't want nobody to look like that. And he was right. So
yeah.
it's
So they
all right.
wanted someone to
They
look
wanted
like
someone to
the
look
bigger
older.
age.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
I mean, there's advantages to both, though.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can play roles that are, beneath the
Right,
the big age.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta start using that
Yeah,
big age.
age.
I got a big
And
age.
can't
Yeah.
they dress you up if
Yeah.
they need you to look
Yeah,
older?
they can.
They
I
can
guess
make
that's
it put-
more.
Put a little powder or something in the beard or
Put
going
powder
on or
in it,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, acting feels so random. Really just with any kind of art, you have to love it,
Yeah.
right? Love the
Yeah.
process, love doing a tape, audition, whatever.
yeah,
Because at the end of the day, it's a bit random.
it
Right?
is. It is. And you have to be like, it's so much, not necessarily rejection, but
Mm-hmm.
so much work goes into it for a no.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
So-
right. I get that.
I've heard
I get that.
For the people that I know that are heavy into acting and real estate, they both say the same thing. It's like you have to learn to embrace the feeling of no.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of like mark them down as, I accomplished 10 no's today.
Right.
All right.
Right.
And like it didn't make sense to me until I moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then, you're submitting stuff for a show or you're trying to get a spot in a little break on a TV show or whatever, or whatever. You're trying to get a placement, whatever.
Right.
And you either don't hear anything
Mm-hmm.
or what you do hear is, we're looking for something that's more blank. So you
Right.
do more blank, you send that in. We're looking for something that's more the other thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, but
Yep.
that,
Yep.
and then also when real estate agents like would talk about like how to, I guess, gauge what strategies are working or not.
Mhm.
They would talk about what comes along with a no.
Mhm.
It's not just no and that's the end all be all, but it's why. Like, why doesn't this offer feel good to you? Is it the area? Is it the amenities? Is
Right.
it me? Whatever.
Right.
And that they would often talk about how you kind of build up your strategy based off of accepting,
Mhm.
if you go on 100 auditions, if you get one, great. As long as you can afford the 99, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that
Yeah.
one audition could be great. What's been hard for me about entertainment is, if the one out of the 100 is a great gig, you feel great. But if the one is meh,
Yeah.
then it's just like,
Yeah. Like I did all, it's like, wow. Yeah. Exactly.
and it's
exactly.
like, really? Like
Yep.
all of that for this? And,
Yeah.
then you move on to the next one. But once you get your quotes,
yeah.
then
That's
the
helpful.
wheels start
Yeah.
turning stronger.
One of my mentors said it is tough to make a living, but
Yeah.
you could
You can
make a killing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Very
but
true.
to make a consistent living, and again, any kind of art is hard.
No.
It is tough, and it's interesting because now to the real stuff that I do, which is the music writing and
Yeah.
producing,
Yeah.
the no's and rejection from that. I feel like, and I often say, I feel like I've gotten beat up over the years for so many years of just no, and you don't always get the feedback,
Yeah.
which is
Mhm.
frustrating.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
exactly.
you know you're dead on. Like I made a pitch, and this song is perfect for
Yeah.
this person,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know." Or,
Yeah.
I don't like that, or something like that. And it's like, what?
Bro,
and
bro.
it's like, why? I don't know. I just don't know.
I feel it.
Yeah, and it's just
that's
a
the hardest for
feeling.
me is the I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, if you making the decision, you know something.
Yeah.
Like you can't not know and then say no.
Right.
Like, but
Right.
what I've tried to adapt, my heart into is the fact that because it is art,
Mm-hmm.
when you're connecting it with business, people are trying to make very ironclad, sustainable decisions that usually they got to pass on to someone else.
Exactly.
And when they do that, they want to feel that it's a slam dunk.
They want to feel excited.
And so a lot of times it's actually not the music that someone is getting a vibe for. It's whether or not they think they can sell it, whether or not it's what they think the person that's actually making the real decision. It's when you're dealing with a go-between, which is a lot, you're dealing with the person and their perspective. I had a pitch for Nickelodeon, and I was working with some folk, and they give you the sheet. You can see what they're looking for. We want something like this. They give you sound alikes like this, right? Same thing. I thought I nailed it. It was dope. Like, I was listening to it in the car. I was like, it was great.
Yeah.
Sent it in. They went with something that once I heard what they wanted, it made sense, but it wasn't what they described. If that makes sense. It wasn't. And the person that did it, like, I felt like they have experience with interpreting what these particular people are looking for, maybe just in general. Because I'm like, I get how they found that space for that sound from the description, but that's not what they asked for. Like, if I was to say to you, I wanted super happy R&B with rap drums or something like that, right? You know what that means.
Right.
But for musicians, that is a literal definition. There is a sound for R&B. There's a sound difference between most R&B versus happy R&B or whatever, uplifting, positive, right? There's a sound there. Right. And then there's also whack hip hop drums, and then there's legit stuff, right? There's also classic hip hop versus contemporary, very different. And if they just say hip hop, you don't know, right? So if you do all that kind of stuff and then you hear what somebody wants, it's like, okay, I connected. And what made sense to me was like, this is for a TV show. TV and film people, they are more actor thinking. Right. They're not musicians. So, it was a hard lesson to learn because I kind of really needed that check.
Well, and there's no science to it at the end of the day. I mean, all the layers you just said are exactly right in terms of needing to upsell it to whoever your boss is or whoever the producer is or whatever.
And even the struggle of not being able to talk to the person that you're using a go-between as a reference.
And they want to maintain their relationship. And then, so it's not a science, like it's based on people's intuition and gut, and then relationships, right? There's some people they want to, big up a little more. Some people they're hanging out with a lot more, and they're leaving room for that.
And then there's also nepotism.
Yeah, that too.
My homie's son is sending in a track and it's garbage, but it's the
all
homie's.
Of a sudden it sounds better because it's
and that's a real thing, man. That's a real. Oh my goodness, I find that here a lot more than everywhere else I've ever lived. Like here is like
it's because the industry is so much older here. Like, I mean, think about it. The as far as the U.S. goes. As far as I know, the oldest entertainment industries is in New York and LA.
In LA,
it was vaudeville and all that stuff in New York that kind of branched out to other stuff, or at least that particular genre and that type of performance or whatever. So people were writing for those kind of shows and that type of music or whatever. And then when the gold rush happened here and so many people were coming here and filming because of the weather and all that, then a lot of music came here to connect with all of the other entertainment industries that were happening. But so there's generations that are here. And it's an awesome thing if you're in the family, but if you're not,
you are really knocking on the door. Now, thank God I've been able to do it. And I've been able to still bring in people and all that kind of stuff. Because somebody told me something when I first came here, and I think I told y'all this. He said, LA, you have to build your own thing. It's like you can't really integrate into anybody else's stuff. So
or it's very hard anyway.
So thankfully, I took that advice and ran with it because if I was just trying to do the placements and stuff, I would be out here, man, cleaning y'all front porch. It's like,
and Dave, I have to give you props because I follow you on social media, but you do stay pretty busy.
Yeah, you do,
you
yo.
get gigs and you
Yeah,
travel
you're an
all around, and
inspiration.
you're in the studio doing your own, compositions as well.
What's the Insta tag so we can tell people?
David P. Stevens with a V.
David P. Stevens. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's on
Amazing
all
guitarist.
social media.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kel.
Yeah. No, that's it. I mean, I'm just giving him props because it is hard to build your own thing, but you do it.
Yeah.
You do it. You keep your, nose to the grindstone.
Yeah. How do you divide up your time for social media?
Good question.
That's what we're kind of struggling with right now.
Very much struggling.
I want to be here. Even like this podcast stuff, like I enjoy it. I'm trying to make music, bro. I do this because I love it, and it's a way to generate content. And I like talking to people. You know what I mean? I love it, but the music though.
No, I feel you.
Dividing up my time, this takes forever to edit and all that kind of stuff, but it's important. So how do you divide up your time, bro? How do you give yourself enough time to be creating, to finish projects, to respond to like calls that come in that, where you got to match what somebody else wants versus your social stuff? Well, how do you do that? What you do?
So number one, I hate social media. I'll be honest.
It's funny how many musicians I hear say that.
Because I'm not a hey everybody look at me kind of guy,
Me neither, yeah.
And so, but I'm forced to be, because people want to see it. So but I recognize too. First of all, this is dope.
Yeah.
Like the whole podcast thing and everything. When I first saw your first one, I was like, okay, now that's you landed.
Yeah.
That's dope.
He's good.
Thanks,
at
bro.
It. He's
Yeah.
very good at it.
I appreciate that.
So what? But I look at it as all as a package. Like so, you need this in this day and age. You need this. The social media. You need all your marketing, all your stuff like that, content, all that stuff, because that all goes hand in hand with the music. People don't want to just listen to music anymore, and there's so much of it.
They want
a
brand and a story. Yeah.
They want a story. They want to know the person. I was telling my dad, he writes books, and I was saying, Pop, you can't just put a book out there on Amazon and think everybody's gonna buy it. I was like, the way people buy now, they want to know the person.
Yeah.
And then the book is just a product that the person, but they're buying into the person.
Right,
and,
Very much so. Very much so.
He's like, man, I don't really like all that. I was like, I know you don't like it. I don't like it either. But it is what it is.
It's kind of the why behind your art. Who are you? What are you manifesting? So
Yep.
So, it's definitely worth it. Maybe he would consider throwing, a little bit to someone that could help him do that, like someone that is very passionate about social media. They can just kind of give him stuff to do or ask him the type of stuff that he might like to do. Yeah. And having someone to interact with
that
might help him see the oil that can grease the wheels, so to speak.
Yeah,
but
that's important, because that even like right now I'm doing that. I'm consulting with somebody about the next round of content that I'm going to do, because I don't want to just keep posting high. Hey, what's up, North Carolina? I'll see you next week. North Carolina, I will see you. Actually, this week, Friday. But anyway, I don't want to keep just doing that all the time.
Yeah.
I want to have some actual content. I love how Will Smith does his Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's so dope.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to, because I recognize that I can't really sell music without having content without people seeing stuff.
Right,
so,
right. It's funny because a woman at our church just said, "Oh, I've been looking at you on TikTok. Good job, good job." And then she's like, "What's next, Kelley?" And I was like, "I don't know. Apply my seat of my pants. I don't know exactly." But she reiterated how much she wants to know how we made the song, how it came together, blah blah blah. And she's absolutely right. Yeah. And I actually do love that stuff. I mean, when it comes to other artists, I love to hear the story behind them. He knows I love behind the scenes. I love the story behind why you're manifesting this thing. So I have to remember that for myself, because I'm like, oh yeah.
There's also your colleague at work. So we go to an event, dude. This blew my mind. We go to an event at the Grammy Museum. They have an exhibit there. Everybody, you should go check this out at the Grammy Museum. It's really cool. They have an exhibit celebrating the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Right, it was awesome. And so we go there, hanging out, chilling. And this lady comes up to me and she goes, "Oh my God, I've been dying to say this to you. Praise him." And I was like, wait like it was surreal. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, why? I know that's me. Why does she? And I was like, "You see my stuff?" And she was like, "Yeah, I love your stuff. I watch it all the time. I'm watching Kelley's Abundance Journey and I love your music." And
Bro, yes.
Like,
I
that
saw the
felt good.
abundance
That
journey
felt
too.
good.
It's
Yeah, I was watching
usually
that
just
too.
like
Every day,
friends
every day.
and
Yep.
family and stuff, and the occasional other person. But for somebody to like pop up in public, what felt to me like out of nowhere was very shocking. Now, at the time, I didn't know she was a colleague and a coworker of Kelley's, right? So for me, the initial shock, I was just like, "Yo, I got a fan."
Well, and I mean, that's how it starts.
I know.
It starts with your friends.
It was
and
just
your
pretty
circle.
cool.
Yeah.
The fact that she threw out the theme and she was happy and you're showing the love. I was like,
It was
oh my
pretty cool.
God.
I was like,
That's
he's famous.
dope. Yeah.
He's famous. And then she went on to say, and you guys are good together. Like,
Yeah.
I like watching
Yeah.
you guys talk. And
They
I
like
was
the dynamic. I told
that
you.
felt good. But to your point, right, about behind the scenes. So wait, so you didn't answer the question of like, how do you break up your time?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm very curious.
So it's funny because most musicians work at night. I don't. I work in the morning time, so I'm there from.
I remember we talked about that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm there from like sometimes 8:00 in the morning to like maybe 6:00 p.m. But during the time of sometimes you're rendering stuff, like sometimes you're like bouncing down stuff, and that time I'm like posting something real quick or I try to. I don't know. I don't spend a whole lot of time on social media. I used to do more when I was younger, but I feel like everybody just kind of, I don't know, they won't let it go. It's like, I don't know, we need to see more stuff. We need to see you do. And then you have to balance because you don't want to do too much because then it starts to get like, okay, all right, we see.
I mean, it makes, I feel the same way. It does make sense to me because when I think about who I engage with, I love music as well, but I spend much more time engaging with people that do like long form podcasts like this, which I very much enjoy. I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan, and I love listening to people that do lectures and speeches. I like that. I like to, take that in. And I do spend a lot of time watching the different things that people do on social media. I tend to follow people who are like doing things like at an excellent level, like not necessarily interactive per se, but like there's a lot of like I don't know what they're called, like digital magicians, maybe, like people that do a lot of like camera tricks and stuff. Where you know what I mean, where something that they're doing is impossible, but they have amazing editing skills and stuff like that. I like watching photographers and stuff like that. But when they do interact and they do stuff to talk, like I want to know, how'd you do this? How'd you figure that out? Like what lens did you use? How did you work that? There's a I think her name is Cash Bunny or something like that. But she's an amazing video editor and videographer. And she did a lot of work with a lot of celebrities at a lot of the major music festivals.
Dope.
And she has a couple of particular techniques for shooting. I'd have to show you. It's hard to describe, but she has her thing, and it's very unique and it's amazing.
Now Cash Bunny does not sound like a photographer, so make sure that's the name, because if I put that in,
I'm sorry,
I don't want to get.
I gotta find it. Yeah,
I want to get led somewhere else.
if you look at
That is a
you
fair
mentioned
question.
you followed Will Smith, like Will and I think Jada maybe too. They had several videos that she did with them, but she often goes to music festivals and like stuff where there's a lot of people, and or like Venice Beach or Santa Monica, whatever. And she'll do these videos where like what you're seeing in the video. Oh man, I gotta find. I gotta put up a clip because
I'm gonna check it out.
I don't know how to explain it because it's. She's just showing what's happening at the occasion, but the way she's able to transition is impossible. But because of her editing skills, she makes video like move more than just putting a camera on somebody. Okay. I'd have to find. I think it's Cash Bunny. I think CACHEBUNNY. I think.
Okay, I'm
Something like that.
See, and I was thinking CASH.
No,
yeah, like
that's a different kind of meaning, babe.
I gotta try and find it. I'll try and remember to like put up a link or something like that because she's pretty dope. But there's also there's several people. Their names are I'm blanking on their names right now. But there's like a French guy who does a lot of crazy video editing stuff, and I gotta remember their names, But my point was just I tend to follow people who are like showcasing their work. And I love comedians and stuff like that. So that's why this is a bit easier for me to feel better about investing my time in, because it's not just, hey, everybody look at me. It's also like, let me share some stuff that has helped me, that might help you. And having other people on gets me out of my head. Because you've just mentioned a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of people might want to hear. I'm not looking for an acting agent. So the fact that you know what I'm saying? The fact that you said it,
Share
some
your
people
wisdom.
might be afraid to try. And they might be, you know what? All he did was put forth the effort, like maybe I can do it. And then maybe they get an agent and their life is better. And then they'll like, share, and subscribe.
Well, you know, at the end of the day, it really is about building community. And I don't mean to sound corny or anything.
Yeah, no, that's right.
But when you make music, I know I'd be corny. But when you make music with people, and you're on my somewhat short list of people I love to collaborate with, Dave Stevens. I love to collaborate with you. He always can just take any little vocal idea I have and just make magic. So thank you for that.
Stuff.
And actually, I wanted to just shout you out on that tip because, you know, when I was transitioning out of my band a long time ago, I had more of a vision of what I wanted Kelley Nicole to sound like and what I wanted to embody on my own. And I had it in my head, but I couldn't quite figure it out. And you were one of the first people, in addition to CA, that just kind of helped me get it out, get the idea out, this like funk diva, whatever, you know. So I wanted to publicly thank you for that, Dave.
Thank you for trusting me with that. It was fun too. I remember the whole project.
It was fun.
He said, "Thank you for trusting me." Isn't that awesome?
Yes, and he means
seriously, and I mean it because you know that's your vision, that's your baby.
Yeah,
so I
definitely.
get that.
And to this day, that was many years ago. We won't date ourselves, but I still
Big
call
age.
Dave. I
Big
still call
age.
Dave.
Big age. You know that's crazy though, because it was many years ago.
It was, and
that
I'm
was
still
what,
proud of that record.
2006, 2007-ish?
Well, it came out in 2011. If anyone wants to look it up,
So
but I started working
start-
on it in 09-ish.
Oh, okay.
08.
No, you know what? It was before that because I break up my life into studios that I built.
Yeah.
Just like a musician.
Right. 2009, I was over here. I had the red carpet. Remember the red carpet?
Exactly. This was the little studio that I had that I was renting space out of.
Oh,
in the
I think I
suburbs.
remember that.
It was like a gated community and stuff like that. So
Nice.
I had, that was cool. It was like a dope thing. So I remember I was working on it then, and that was 06 and 07.
Oh, you're probably right. Because I had ideas, and they just didn't fully manifest till about 2011 when they came out.
Right.
And I remember too, I had this vision of doing gigs where my communities are, speaking of community. And so LA was one, New York was the other, Boston was the other. And Dave put together the band in New York and Boston.
I remember that. Yeah.
People were driving up from Philly to help me out. And Dave, you are in here. You are in here.
She came home beaming. She was like, "Yo, Dave took care of everything."
Yeah,
awesome.
man. It was great.
I remember that.
And that was one of my best shows, I think, in New York. Yeah.
The what was it? What was it called?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember now.
It was something in the Village or something.
It was
like
in
that.
the Village. I forget the name. I should remember.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I promoted the heck out of that one. But thank you. You know, I really felt good coming out of that.
That was fun. That was a fun time. Now that I'm remembering, like, oh man,
Yep. Good times.
Family.
Good times.
Yes, sir.
You got to collab with people. You got to collab with people because it makes stuff easier, makes stuff go better and all that. We're going to cut for a second. We're going to continue with Dave Stevens. We're actually going to talk about the song in maybe on the fourth or fifth segment of this. We'll get to talking about the actual song.
Eventually.
Dave is the producer of Scales, which is our next single coming out on October 27th. It'll be out. It's called Scales, written by Kelley Nicole Purcell and a rebit by me, and produced by Dave Stevens. Gumbolaya Podcast, CA Purcell. Come back in just probably a couple of days. I'll probably get these out super quick for the next segment. Gumbolaya Podcast.
Woo!
Production.